Good evening, everybody. It's so good to see you all on. As I see the numbers are starting to grow, we need you guys to tag and share. Tag and share, you all. It is so exciting. On Mondays, we book club. And I see you back there in the studio, Tara Lynn. So glad that you're with us this evening. I did put the link in our team chats. Just so that if you guys desire to get onto the screen, I'll put you on screen while we're talking. You're already kind of in the studio so that you are not trying to get in the studio. So I would love for you all to tag and share. You all know what we do on Mondays. We book club. And I was having a conversation with MG the mortgage guy. Shout out to MG the mortgage guy, Matthew. If you don't know MG the mortgage guy, you need to go follow him. He is doing the darn thing. And we were talking last night, you know, MG he's best friends with our pastor at 2819 church. Now, they've been friends for over 30 years, since they were little boys, like 10 and 12 years old. And MG flew into town. I want y'all to hear that. He flew into town to visit church, to come to church on Sunday. He said, I was empty. Good evening, Deborah Moore, Lanisha, Shannon, Robin Ball, Marguerite Flum, Monica. Thank you. He said, I was empty. I was running on empty. And Tara Lynn, he said, so I got on a plane. He said, I booked the flight. He said, I had just gotten back from Detroit. He lives in New York. He said, I had just gotten back from Detroit. And I realized he said, I went and spent some time with my children. Miss Brenda, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect you just because your device is not connected it's not connected to the back. So you can go ahead and just join us on YouTube because for whatever reason, it's Sandra Hayward. I'm sorry. Sandra Hayward, yeah, your device is not connected. So it just says device not connected. Terrellyn, I can see you back there in the back studio, so you're good. But he said, I got on a plane. I booked the flight because I was on E. Now, a lot of people come to Atlanta for a lot of things, but that it was the first time, Bridget, I had heard anybody say, I got on a plane to come to service because I was on E. And I said to him, that is why one of the things that I say every single Monday when I'm reminding people that we have book club at 6 p.m., good evening, Robin Anita. I say you cannot pour from an empty cup. And most of us are always giving and giving and giving and giving, especially moms, right? And if you're a mom and a wife, even the more. But we're giving and giving and giving. And if you work, then even the more, right? But he said, I jumped on a plane to come to service to get full. He said, and I wasn't going to come to Atlanta and not come to your house to eat, right? He said, so I could get spiritually full and then physically full. As a matter of fact, y'all, he was trying to get back here today for round 2 is what he said, right? But his schedule was that he's been in meetings all day. Very, very, very high powered, you guys. One of our multi-millionaire friends and family, MG, the mortgage guy. You guys ought to go follow him on Instagram. Another thing that we talked about just was the power of relationships and all of life, not being just about what you know, but more so being about who you know, right? Who you're connected to, not what you know, not your skill set, not your degree, not any of those things, but it is the who you're connected to. You guys, is very important. But what's also important, there was something that he said that was so powerful last night. And I know that I'm not stalling. I'm really not. I just feel led to share this with you all. MG, the mortgage guy, is heavily connected with EYL, Earn Your Leisure. You all know that Earn Your Leisure, and if you don't know, you ought to know, right? That Earn Your Leisure now is bigger than the Breakfast Club. And y'all know the Breakfast Club had a long 10-year run or so where they were the biggest thing, right? Since podcasts began. And he said, when I started my relationship with EYL, he said, I didn't want anything from them. I hope y'all hear this. The way that he built the relationship, Terrellyn, the way that he built the relationship, Tedra, was that he gave value. He said, I just kept coming around those guys giving value. He said, I didn't want to know anything. He said, I didn't want anything from them. He said, I just wanted to know How in the heck are you getting that kind of engagement on your social media? He said, so I kept serving and giving. So here's the deal. You can't just want to be around somebody for what they have to offer you, but what do you bring to the table? Okay, so Terrell, I'm gonna go ahead and start reading because I know that that's when we're gonna get crickets and people gonna start jumping off, right? Because oftentimes I find people that try to get around people to suck the blood out of their veins, right? It's like, what can I get? I just want to be around them. I just want to get in those rooms. I just want to be at those tables. I just want to hear those conversations. But what do you bring? What do you give? Because the reality was MG, although he makes a killing with them now, right? When he started for the year, for almost 2 years, all he did was give, add value, add value, add value, add value. And now MG said, I can have a conversation with Zillow, and it might be a 45-minute conversation that I get paid $10,000 for. What are you doing to add value? Or are you just I just want to be around? Oh, because Mrs. Moore, she got so much energy. So you're just coming around to zap the energy? What do you bring to that? It's almost like you don't go to somebody's birthday party without a gift, right? You don't come to someone's home without something in your hand. Like that's just the way we were raised. You don't just go to get, you go to receive. The very first time, you guys, that MG, the mortgage guy, had dinner with us, he paid for the whole thing. He said, I'm going to cash app you the money to buy all the food. Do y'all? Okay, anyway. So anyway, we're reading. That was for free. That was for free. Now we need you all to tag and share, okay? Tag and share. Let everybody know that we are here. Mondays, we book club. We're reading The Power of One More by Ed Mylett. Here's another tip. Here's another freebie for you. Leaders are readers. Not them fake readers like the people that just buy all the books just so they can say that they bought them, but like for real readers. Leaders are readers. And it's so amazing how there was a time when I used to say, well, I don't really like to read, right? But then when I realized that I wanted my income to go up and I wanted my waistline to come down, I didn't like going to the gym. I didn't like exercising. I didn't really care for reading. And now I love that. Well, I don't love the gym, but I love the results that I get from the gym. All right, let me say that. But I will tell you that I love how my day gets started early. I feel energized early in the morning. So if you're not moving your body and you're wondering why you're always feeling tired, could be because you're not moving your body, right? But leaders are readers. And so the reality of it is people know when you're reading, when you're listening to personal development, because ain't no way. That's like saying, I love the Lord and I know God, but I'm always depressed. No, not so. There's a song we used to sing, there is no way, right? I can be depressed with God. Okay, ain't no way. All right, you got it. So now we're in chapter 5, and I have no voice when I was trying, right? We're in chapter 5. One more emotion. Now, before we get started, I need every one of you guys to go to your Facebook and share it. Tell somebody to come on and get on book club, because here's the deal. Those will be the same people in your circle that's calling you with a bunch of drama and a bunch of nonsense. Needing you to preach them off the ledge. And needing you to, they was in church yesterday, but now they need you to preach them up today. Okay. So go share it one more time, right? Let people know that we are live on book club, the place that they can feel safe. They can feel free. They can get what they need, and they don't even need to have the book. So one more emotion. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. I'm going to read that one again. Raynell, how you feeling? I've been praying for Raynell. Raynell, this thing that's going around. Raynell, I saw a picture on Instagram and it was of a plane that was just spraying stuff all across. I don't even know where this plane was. In the caption, it said, and I cannot remember, I meant to screenshot it before it flipped off my screen. In the caption, it said, what are they spraying? They said, even the more, thank you, Shannon Whitney, even the more, why has everybody got this cough? Have you noticed everywhere you're going, everybody's got this like cough? There's like an itchiness, there's phlegm in your throat. It's coming up through your nose. It's just, have y'all noticed that? There's just people everywhere. We don't feel sick though. Here's the deal, except if unless you got asthma like me and Raynell, right? So I've been struggling a little bit, but all of a sudden, everybody's coughing. And I saw that there's been these planes that have been flying around, dropping some kind of liquid all over the place. And let me shut up before they shut my live down. Let me shut up. I just want y'all to be aware of what's going on, right? Let me give y'all a little bit of a little help. So if you feel this thing, the only thing that's been helping me has been, I have been using a nebulizer machine, but the allergy medicine with a decongestant is the only thing that's helping whatever this is. So I don't know if you all have seen it, but if you missed it, just know, we got to be careful because they've been banning me off of YouTube. Okay, so I need to read this again. This is a quote by Sigmund Freud. Unexpressed emotions will never die. I hope y'all hear this. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. Oh my goodness. So love and hate, joy and sorrow, peace and anger, bliss and rage. Why are emotions so important to understand? As a matter of fact, maybe Tara Lynn, since you're in the studio with me, do you mind getting us the definition to emotion? Can you get the and I'm gonna bring you up to read it to everybody. The definition of the word emotion. Let me see, for all of you that are on YouTube, in the chat, why are emotions so important to understand? Let us know what you think. I'm going to bring Tara Lynn to the stream with me. Hey, you got to unmute you can't unmute your guest because they choose to mute. Okay, you got to unmute on your end. Yeah, it says,
all right, there we go. Hey.
All right, hey. So thank you for joining me in the studio. It feels good to not be back here by myself, right? So,
at first, I thought I was in the wrong place. I was like,
yeah, all right. So go ahead.
The definition of emotion: a natural, instinctive state of mind deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationships with others.
Wait, emotions. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Because, Tara Lynn, we've always said that emotions were our feelings.
That's what we've always said. That's true.
But the definition says it's a state of mind, thought. It has nothing to do with fear. Okay, let's read that again. I need you to go back and read it again because I just learned something.
All right. A natural, instinctive state of mind deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationships with others.
Okay, we probably could have a whole conversation tonight on that one word, emotion. That's powerful. That's so stinking powerful. But it's derived by circumstances. So it's your state of mind. But it's a natural and instinctive state of mind derived from circumstances. How we're thinking, not how we're feeling. Emotions have nothing to do with how we feel. So, Tara Lynn, could we venture to say that means we choose to be happy, sad, mad, depressed, up, down?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Now, there is another definition.
Come on.
Let me read it. Okay. It says instinctive or intuitive feeling as distinguished from reasoning or knowledge.
Oh, okay. So basically, still ain't feeling. He's just not
Right. It's still not feeling.
Right. It's still saying that you thought it out,
Mm-hmm.
and now you feel something because of what you think. Intuitive knowledge. Wow, who knew? So we've been walking around here just as ignorant. I'm 50, almost 51. And how I feel, my emotions, this and just dumb. Nina, just ignorant. Y'all know I ain't calling myself dumb. Y'all know what I mean, right?
Right.
Just crazy walking around talking about something, have no idea what. Wow. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm gonna put you back
No
down.
problem.
Don't go nowhere. We might
Okay.
Wow. I don't know, y'all. We choose to be emotional because emotion has nothing to do with feeling. So now let's go back. Now that we know what that word means, why are emotions so important to understand? How do we use them? Listen to this, to gain measure of control in our lives. Because our lives are directly linked to the quality of our emotions. Hold on a minute. Wait a minute. We know it was going to start off like this, kick us in the butt. Page 1. This ain't but the first. This is the first paragraph. All right. So our lives are directly linked to the quality of our emotions. The emotions that we're supposed to be in control of. Intuitive, instinctive knowledge about how you think based on your circumstances. Your choice to feel. Yes, Kim Rogers, ding, 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 ding. The answer is because if you understand your emotions, you can control them. Oh, so show me somebody who experiences bliss, joy, love, peace, and passion on a regular basis, and I'll show you someone leading an incredible life. So wait a minute, Carolyn. What this is saying is that person is choosing it. So while we're all sitting around like, wow, they just look happy all the time. She's got so much energy all the time. Wow. She's living, you're sitting around like, wow, I wish I could have an incredible life like that. Show me somebody who's dominated by hate, sorrow, depression, anger, and anxiety, and I'll show you someone who is not leading a great life. It's not the caliber of these people's homes. It's not the caliber of their cars or other material possessions that determines the quality of their lives. It's the quality of their emotions. We all ought to put that in the chat. Let me tell y'all why I always say put it in the chat. Because when once we type it out, we tend to put it to memory. Now, you know what? I want to bring, if I can, Miss Brenda is in the studio with us, right? And Miss Brenda, if you don't mind, I would love to bring you. I want to ask you a question. Hey, Miss Brenda. All right. So I think you might be, you don't look muted on my end. I can see that your mic is not muted on my end. So, Miss Brenda, you're older. You're a little older than me, right? And I'm not calling you old. I'm just saying.
That's all right. I'm glad to be here.
I know that's right. I'm almost 51 and I'm just learning the true meaning of this word. How does it feel at 75 to know that all your life you've probably thought that this was something totally different, and now you're finding out this true meaning of emotion? And I've been watching you. Literally, it's like something for you, like a, I don't know. It's almost like over the last 4 weeks or so, it's almost like you look like you have a new release on life. Does that give you more understanding now, understanding this word emotion? Talk to us a little bit about that for you.
Yeah, because it seems like there's something new. It's something new for me, period. things have changed so much, so that it is like it's new. And emotions, it has always been feelings, I thought.
That's what we right, right. So here you are now at 75,
Yeah.
learning that this is about the quality of our thoughts.
Wow. That's different.
But,
It's really different. It's strange.
right,
It's
but you
hard
know,
to explain.
it is hard to, but you know what I will say for you is I'm watching you at 75, and I say the same thing to my father. My father is 75, and I applaud you the way I applaud him, because my dad is 75 and he's not afraid to evolve. He's not afraid to learn and grow. And my dad will also, like, if I call him and I'll say, "Hey dad, I think you should try this a little bit differently." I told my dad he used to do his lives with his camera real low. And I told him, "Stop, Dad. I need you to stop doing it low. Like, sit it up something so that it's either eye level or above you, because when the camera is low, it makes you look larger than you really
Yeah.
are." And just little things like that. So I want to applaud you. Number one, at 75, that you're always on book club. You know, you've had heart surgeries and things like that in the last 6 months or so, and you still refuse to stop going. So thank you for being an example and a light to those of us who are a little younger than you, that even at 75, you do not take no for an answer, and you're open to learning and growing. We want to take a moment to applaud you. Thank you for being on book club with us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
I
So don't go nowhere. I'm gonna put you down, but you don't have to leave the studio. Okay. Okay. All right. All right, y'all. Y'all give Miss Brenda a round of applause in that chat. They clapping for you, Miss Brenda. So listen to this. We're gonna go back. It's not the caliber of people's lives. It's not the caliber of their homes, cars, or other material possessions that determines the quality of their lives. Rather, it's the quality of their emotions. You have an emotional home that you live in. How you fill this home with the emotions you choose. Listen to this. How you fill the home with the emotions you choose is the reality of your life more than anything else. So when you find people, especially children, right, that teenager age or whatever, and they don't know how to handle adversity, you know why they can't handle adversity well? Because they watch their mothers and fathers go off all the time, screaming and hollering and yelling, and they don't know how to have a conversation. And because there's no communication, they're not taught how to manage conflict, because they watching their parents go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So there it is. How you fill your home, how you fill this home with the emotions you choose is the reality of your life more than anything else. Is the reality of your life more than anything else. So all of us experience 5 or 6 consistent emotions in this home every day. And no matter what your life conditions are, you will find a way to get those emotions. Every one of us is conditioned to return to our emotional homes, even if those emotions don't serve us well. Have you ever noticed that no matter what's going on in your life, you always seem to find these same half dozen emotions? For example, you may seek out worry, insecurity, fear, and anxiety, not necessarily because you want to. You do it because these emotions are familiar to you. Your mind always seeks out what is familiar because there is a level of comfort, even when the familiar works against you. The synapses in your brain are wired to seek and find those emotions. So when that's all you're used to, because it's comfortable, your brain goes searching. So you know, people that love drama, they just always got, when they come around, everything they touch is drama. Everywhere they go, there's drama. Y'all know, You live in that emotional home. It's what the book says. And the truth is, if you're going to change your life, you're going to have to clean house and change that emotional home. This isn't to say that all emotions don't have their place in the world. What we perceive, there's that word, as an ongoing quest for positive emotions and avoiding negative emotions is a fallacy of sorts. All emotions serve us one way or another. Some anxiety, some is just as important as bliss or joy. There are times that I feel anxiety, but it's a good kind of anxiety, right? It's never like that going to make me fall apart anxiety. Anxiety is a warning system our brain uses to protect us. What we perceive as negative emotions serve important purposes in many cases too. Think of emotions as neither negative or positive. Emotions just are. Both sides of our emotional quotient must be intentionally managed. That's a good word right there. Both sides. We've got to intentionally manage both sides of our emotional quotient. Right? It says too much of any emotion perceived as either good or bad does not serve you well. Your goal should be to feel specific emotions in your emotional home, regardless, here it is, regardless of the external factors in your life, such as having a certain kind of job, living in a certain kind of house, or driving a certain kind of car. The amazing thing is that when you have your emotional house in order, you're more likely to get that job, that house, or that car. So many people think that if they get those things, they'll feel the positive emotions associated with reaching those goals. One more thinkers flip-flop that sequence. Let's talk about that. So while we think that everything got to be right for us to be positive, no, it's saying be positive so that everything can be right. Uh-oh. Now I know. Be positive so that everything will work out. Not if it work out, I'll be positive. Oh, come on, y'all. It's almost like saying, I'm going to drink this juice right here and I'm going to lose 50 pounds, but I'm going to just eat and do whatever else I want. Come on, y'all. Come on. No, do the thing. This will help. Right? Do the thing, then the other things will help. It's almost like praying to God, Tara Lynn, for a job. Then you sit back like, well, I mean, I prayed. I prayed. I guess they singing that song. Well, I prayed and I prayed, prayed and I prayed all night long. And we just think that God is just going to come bust you upside the head and say, here it is. Not let me go network and meet some people. Let me go have conversations, right? Because I keep telling you, it's not about what you know. It's who you know. You never know what person is going to be able to open a door that's been locked to you, right? The person. So the amazing thing is that, oh, wait a minute, where we at? One more thinkers get intentional daily, they get intentional weekly, they get intentional monthly, and they get intentional yearly. With putting their emotional homes in order and deciding which emotions they most want to experience. Well, that's a whole killer right there. So not only do we have to be intentional, not only do our emotions determine the quality of our lives, right? And the quality of our emotions, but now, Tara Lynn, this is saying that we get to decide which emotions we want to experience. let me tell y'all something. We get to decide which emotions we want to experience. So, Carolyn, I'm gonna bring you back up to the screen. We get to decide which emotions we want to experience. How does that make you feel?
I got the power. I have the choice.
That's the song I heard when you said that. I'm like, right? Songs are always going through my brain. But think about it. Here's what's so crazy, because as I'm reading these words, what I'm actually seeing too is how a person is just sitting there deciding, I want to be sad. I want to be mad. I want to be depressed. I am so, because now I'm literally, I think about it. You know, someone said something to me earlier today. They asked me how to win. I gave them the winning formula, right? And when I talked to them again today, they told me that they didn't do anything that I gave them in the formula because they got distracted. And I will tell y'all that I got angry. And the reason why I got angry, because I almost felt like, there was like a waste of my time. Mm-hmm. But I also got angry because I know what a person tells me that they need. And so when you say this is what you need, but then it doesn't measure what you do. Now I'm sitting around because I got distracted too last night, right, Carolyn? I ended up having company. I didn't know what I was going to have. I didn't even know that MG was in town until we were in church. And I got distracted, and I knew that was going to throw me way back. I had an early morning appointment all the way in Clarkston. So, I had to go all the way to Clarkston, which is past perimeter from my house, at an early morning appointment to get my passport stuff done over. And I had a lot of stuff to get done because there's a whole package that you need to take to them, and it all has to be done before you go. I had 9 things of juice to make. Like, I had a lot to do. So I don't know if y'all saw my early morning live until almost 2:00 this morning, because I had to wait until almost 2:00 in the morning to start getting my stuff done, because after the guests left, I still had cleaning to do, had to put food up. I had, you know what I mean? Like, I got distracted. But the reality, Carolyn, was that I still had a job to do. So I'm thinking, so people really are just sitting around saying, like, I just want to be depressed. Based off of what this says, right? It says, we decide the emotions that we want to experience. And you just said, I got the power. So thank you. Everybody type in, I got the power in the chat. All right, I'm gonna take it back down, but don't go nowhere. I'm gonna take it back down. Ooh, this is so good. All right, y'all. So as a one more thinker, ask yourself, what are the 5 or 6 emotions I most want to experience? Can we type that in the chat? What are the 5 or 6 emotions that you most want to experience? Write it in the chat, y'all. I know they in there like, I got the power. I got the power. I got the power. We all probably gonna go listen to that song. I bet you it'll come on tonight. I bet you we're gonna hear that song in the next 24 hours. Watch, right? And now you want to write down, you guys, what are the 5 or 6 emotions that you want to experience? Let us know in the chat, right? And Sally, we're super proud of yourself. Sally, Sally wrote in the chat, y'all, just now, that she chooses, let me put this up. I choose not to wallow in my grief. And I'm going to tell you all something. Paul and I talk about Sally almost every single day, because Sally's resilience, and it's not that she doesn't have moments, because we always know when she's having a moment. We can tell by the tone of her post. And in those moments, you guys, we start praying for her, because we know as we're watching her choose to not wallow in her grief, we're just praying for her when we see that her strength is not as as high as other days, right? But I want you to know, Sally, you are an ever-present strength for Paul and I, because there's no reason why we cannot keep showing up and we're not even dealing with anything on the magnitude of what you've dealt with. And so we want to congratulate you, like literally. There's nothing that anybody can say to me. Cause I'm like, no, it's now, Terrellyn, there's really nothing that no one can say to me. Cause I'm gonna tell them to go to this book. Matter of fact, I'm gonna screenshot the pages and I'm gonna just send it to them. And I'm gonna say, oh, okay, so basically you are choosing to feel that way. Cause it is a choice. All right. So it says, what are the emotions you want to experience the most? When you do this, listen, the reticular activating system, or RAS, R-A-S, our brain will go to work on finding the circumstances that will create those emotions for you. Once they are activated, oh my God, this is so crazy. Once they're activated, harmful emotions will be decommissioned and replaced with positive emotions that will fully activate the best version of you. I don't, this is so good. I don't want to rush through this, because you know what? I could rush through this chapter and we just read it to get it done. But I don't know, y'all. This is one that we may need to kind of like mosey on through the daisies, because I think that this is a very powerful chapter when we're talking about these emotions. Because I think also, Terrellyn, Miss Brenda, Kim, Raynell, Tedra, Marguerite, Sally, I think Robin Owens, what's going to happen now is, as we're listening to people, we're going to be better leaders, because we're going to be like, okay, well, I understand how you feel. However, there is another side. There's another way to perceive this. There's another way to look at this. And you're choosing the latter. You're choosing that. Because clearly, based on what the words mean, as a matter of fact, now leaders, when you're talking to other people, if you're counseling other people, ministering to other people, you should ask them to look up the definition of the word emotion. That should be a part of your verbiage with people. Let's look this word up. Go look that word up. Can you look this definition up and send it to me? Read it a couple times and then send it to me. I mean, because at this point, I'm just, there's nothing a person could say to me now based on what I'm reading today. When you do this, the reticular activating system in your brain will go to work on finding the circumstances that will create those emotions for you. Once activated, harmful emotions will be decommissioned. Terrellyn, can you give us a definition of the word decommission? Look it up and I'm going to bring you up to the screen. And they'll be replaced with positive emotions that will fully activate the best version of you. So let's bring Terrellyn back up. Let's see what the word decommission means. You got to unmute yourself. Don't forget.
Gotta get my glasses on. Okay. Decommission. Here we go. Withdraw something, especially weapons or military equipment. That's not what we want.
No, that's a good one. You know why I like that one? Let me tell you why that's a good one. Because you're saying to withdraw with the strength of like a military weapon.
Yes, weapons or military equipment from service. And then it has like an example, a decision to decommission the ice patrol ship, HMS Endurance. And then the other one says, make a nuclear reactor or weapon inoperative and dismantle and decontaminate it to make it safe.
Okay, that's it. Dismantle. So now we're saying that it will disengage something as strong as like a military with the force of like a military weapon when you decompress something, right? But then it says to dismantle. So let's talk about this. When you do this, your RAS, your reticular activating system in your brain will go to work finding the circumstances that would create the emotions for you. Once you activate that, it says the harmful emotions will be dismantled. And they will be dismantled. It'll be made powerless as by something as strong as military weapons and machines. These words are some kind of powerful. And then it says with positive emotion, because decommissioned and replaced with positive emotions that will fully activate the best version of you. Terilyn, you remember the cartoon when we were younger? Wonder Twin powers? Activate. Form of a dove. Form of an eagle, right? You listen, ladies and gentlemen. Right. And the Bible says, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Now, it may mean that it might form because the Bible didn't say it wasn't going to form. It says, though, no weapon that's formed will prosper. Come on, y'all. Dismantle negative emotions by replacing it with positive ones. So you feeling low, move your body. You feeling low, go put on the song Because I'm Happy, come along if you feel like a. And there's no way that you could sing that song. There's no way you can listen to that song 10 times and still be in the same frame of mind. Unless you absolutely 100% choose to not allow the negative feelings to be dismantled. Woo! All right, thank you, Terilyn. Put your bag down. Don't go nowhere. Oh, that is so good. All right, so understanding, listen, the DNA of emotions. Understanding the DNA of emotions. This is powerful. The more you understand the genesis and relationship between all of your emotions, I think we need to know what the word genesis means. See, I know what it means. Because I actually have looked up that word here recently too. Right. But of course, most of us are going to know that genesis means like the beginning, the formation, right? But somebody can look that up and put it in the chat for us so we can kind of read a little bit further. But genesis. The more you understand the genesis and the relationship between all of your emotions, the easier it is to move away from destructive emotions. The easier it is to move away from destructive emotions and replace them with positive emotions. So basically, we have a choice to move away from destructive emotions when we understand the genesis and the relationship between all of our emotions. Emotions are the primary, and whenever somebody puts in the chat, I'm gonna put it on the screen. Emotions are the primary driver of your personality. Wow, wow. Emotions are the primary driver of your personality. They heavily influence hundreds of decisions you make every day. Emotions are complex, sometimes unpredictable, and can bubble up in ways and at times that you never expected. Plato said human behavior flows from the three main sources. This is so important. This is so important. Listen. Human behavior flows from three main sources: our desire, our emotion, and our knowledge. Our desire, our emotion, and our knowledge. That is where our human behavior flows. Did anybody get us the definition of Genesis? Let me see. Nobody put it in the chat. Let's go ahead and I want to look up the actual definition so I can give it to you. 1 second. Definition of Genesis. The origin or mode of formation of something. All right. The origin. Genesis is in the beginning. There it is. Thank you, Kimberly Rogers. All right. So let's go back. It says, the more you understand the origin, right? The genesis, the origin, or the formation of the relationship between all of your emotions. So when we understand the relationship between our desires, our emotion, and our knowledge, right? Those are the human behavior flows from those three main sources. Those three main sources, desire and the knowledge, are what we are. Desire and knowledge are what we acquire in response to stimuli we receive as we live our lives. Okay? Emotions are different. We're born as emotional creatures. Our emotions are constantly evolving, but we do know we can control them, right? Based on what we've been reading. We're born as emotional creatures. Our emotions are constantly evolving, and the complexity of our emotional quotient is unique to each of us. They guide our actions. Our emotions guide our actions. All right? Our emotions guide our actions, and they create part of the individual DNA of who we are. Scientists know emotions are coded into our DNA as our lower level response to outside stimuli. They are believed to have developed as a way for us to respond to different environmental threats, most notably the fight or flight response. Emotions emanate, you guys, emotions emanate from the subcortical areas of the brain, including the amygdala, and the ventral medial prefrontal cortices. When triggered emotions produce biochemical reactions, they have a direct impact on a person's physical state. The amygdala also plays a role in releasing neurotransmitters, which are essential in creating memories. Without going too deep, this is why emotional memories are more robust and easier to recall. All right, you guys, this is so good. All emotions have a purpose. Like positive emotions, negative emotions are a valuable source of cognitive information to help you understand what's going on around you. They help you identify threats and to be on guard against possible dangers, while negative emotions are an essential counterbalance to help you see both sides of a situation. So here's the deal. What this means is you cannot choose to only see one side. While fear and anxiety, right? While fear and anxiety are seen as negative emotions, they can be what spurs you to take action and change your life when you recognize their presence. If harnessed properly, negative emotions are motivators that help us address and correct behaviors. Guilt is tied to our moral compass, and when we feel this when we feel this emotion internally, we'll punish ourselves because we believe we've done something wrong. Guilt keeps us in check from doing bad things like committing crimes, cheating on our spouses, on our taxes, drinking and driving. Similarly, jealousy is sometimes referred to as benign envy. This benign envy can motivate someone to believe that if another person can accomplish a goal, such as setting a good grade or hitting a high sales dollar amount, that it's tangibly in reach for them as well. You can reframe jealousy as a good thing when you're able to view it as an achievable goal for you too. The key is to keep these and other negative emotions in check. Keep these and other negative emotions in check. All right, hold on one second. We've got some private chat. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, yup. All right, I got those comments. I saw some comments in the little chat, you guys. So, when we get caught up in the endless cycle of negative emotions, is when we get into trouble. Wallowing in negative emotions can impair our ability to think straight, especially when those emotions are incredibly intense. You are your emotions. I didn't say it, y'all. The book says you are your emotions. And if you don't get intentional about how you interact with your emotions and move toward the emotions that you want, you'll live the same life you always have. Once you learn to identify your emotions, they begin to loosen their grip on you. Your awareness means gaining control. As a one more thinker, you can begin replacing dominant, harmful emotions with helpful emotions. When you gain control, new and positive emotions will energize you. They'll help you chart new goals and directions. You'll find it easier to get big ticket items done in your life when you live with confidence and happiness instead of doubt and despair. Imagine what would happen if you could rebuild your emotional framework one more emotion at a time to put you in a position to become a millionaire, buy your dream house, or find your soulmate. Flipping your emotions from a can't do mindset to a can do mindset is an essential step to making all of these things happen. I am my emotions. I am my emotions. You know, it's so funny because as I think about what the word of God says, I am that I am, right? So I am what I'm thinking. I am what I'm feeling. And if I believe that no matter what is going on in my life, that I can get up from this place, that I can master a thing, that I can dominate a thing, that I can be in control of my emotions, that I can rise. And when I think about Maya Angelou's poem, and yet I rise, and yet I rise, and yet I rise, right? That we can, that I can have a can-do mindset, that I can do. And then we think, for us that are believers, because I'm never going to force what I believe on you, but we say, I can do all things, Philippians 4:13. Through Christ who strengthens me. Can we really? Can we really do all things? Why are we quoting that scripture if we don't believe that we can do all things? Oh, we can do all things until it gets tough. We can do all things until it gets tight. We can do all things until it challenges us. We can do all things until it's uncomfortable. We can do all things until, we show them who we really are. We can do all things until it makes us not be lazy. We can do all things until we have to what? Look in the mirror and say, you know what? I really do see what I see. We can do all things until then, right? Why you hoard your emotions. We're going to read that one and then we're going to be done, right? And we're going to finish this next week. Why you hoard your emotions. So I would venture to say that if you hoard things in your life, then you probably hoard your emotions also, huh? Hoard. 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 That's what the author says, not Nina. Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. Changing your emotional mindset is a challenge. I'm not going to lie. There are mental barriers to overcome when you've been preconditioned to think a certain way, a way that brings you comfort and goes to great lengths to avoid pain. So why won't we change? Because we would rather be comfortable. Because we know that it's that making the decision to change the way we've been preconditioned to think, we want to avoid the pain. We want to avoid the pain. So you know what? And we don't even realize that we'll have more pain of regret than we do of the pain of change, right? So to avoid the pain, often the actions you take in your life are because you think they'll give you a particular emotional response, not a physical response, not a material response, but you think that if you do a certain thing, it'll give you an emotional response. So you buy flowers for your wife or your girlfriend because you want to show your love for her. And feel the love in return. You take a long walk on a beach or a hike alone in the park as a way to clear your mind and find peace. You work your butt off to reach a year-end goal, reach a year-end work goal, because you know you'll enjoy the recognition you receive and the pride that you'll feel. Emotions are stronger and more permanent than feelings. Feelings are emotional reactions. They're more transitory and shallow in nature. Emotional responses run deeper and can be measured by physical cues. What mother's heart does not race when her child comes home from a long deployment, right, in the military, to surprise her. If you get in a fight with your spouse, at some point they'll stop talking to you, but their body language will tell you all you need to know. Studies have shown that unhealthy anger in its repressed state has been linked to cancer. Did y'all know that? Yes, I was reading that a few weeks ago, that studies are showing unhealthy anger, when you're holding on to bitterness and sadness and all of that stuff, that it leads to cancer. Unaccompanied by positive emotions, negative emotions can create an endless stream of ruminations. This repeated negative thinking increases the brain's stress levels. You wondering why you can't get rid of that weight? And you know what? Some of you are allowing people to, you're a garbage can. Have you ever asked yourself, why do they always come to me with this stuff? I'm going to tell y'all something. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. No bad news. No bad news. No bad news. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. No bad news. They don't bring it to me. Let me tell you why. They don't bring it to me because I'm not a garbage can. I don't allow people to stay where they are, and I frankly don't want to hear it. So why are people always coming to you with stuff? Because you love it. You love to hear it, and you let them bring you that garbage. And spirits are transferable. So you letting them bring you a bunch of garbage all the time because you're a garbage can. Close the lid. Garbage stinks once it's sitting. It rots. It grows. What's those? The worms. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Those maggots. Maggots. Why are people always bringing you drama and negativity? And it's funny because when people come in and they, well, they called me and they were telling me, and this one called, and a lot of people have been calling me to say, really? Are they? Why? I'm going to tell y'all, when people tell me that, in my mind, I'm always thinking, why are they calling you? Because they know not to call me. Because I don't let nobody have pity parties. I know someone the other day that walked away from their job. They had to walk away from their job. Paul and I went and picked them up. And they were sitting here. And I said, you done now? This is just what I did, Miss Brenda. You know I'm telling the truth, right? I said, okay, so are you done now? I said, because, okay, what we fitting to do about it? Because enough is enough. What we fitting to do about it? You either going to staying or you staying where you are. Because if you're staying where you are, you can't stay around me. Because I'm gonna give you a moment, but then it's what we doing? What we doing? Because I'm not allowing that to fester around me. You're not bringing me from here to here. And that's what happens when you allow yourself to be a garbage can. So ask yourself, when y'all be like, well, they called me and they were inboxing me and why? Why they inboxing you? Why they calling and texting you? So although unaccompanied by positive emotions, negative emotions can create an endless stream of ruminations. This repeated negative thinking increases the brain's stress levels, flooding our bodies with stress, the stress hormone cortisol. So your belly fat, Because you got all them negative thoughts running through your brain. So what that does now, this repeated negative thinking increases the brain's stress level, flooding your body with the stress hormone cortisol. That can lead to depression, overeating, drug and alcohol abuse, high blood pressure, and cardiovascular disease. That's what the book says. When I see people finally moving around to losing weight and moving around, Miss Brenda, you know what I know? What I know is that they finally changed their thinking and they're finally being honest with themselves. That's what I know. Although you want to hoard and experience only positive emotions, the fact is that all emotions are entirely normal to experience, and they are. It's how long you stay there. That means anger, fear, disgust, sadness, contempt, shame, guilt, and other emotions we perceive as negative are just as normal as surprise, happiness, satisfaction, joy, and relief, to name a few. When you try to repress perceived negative emotions in favor of only seeking and allowing positive emotions to exist in your mind, you tip a delicate balance that causes problems instead. So last night I realized someone had like wore me out this morning. And I allowed myself, I'm going to feel what I feel. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm done. Because I'm a human. I'm not a robot. I feel it. But how long do you allow yourself to stay there? How long? You're going to allow yourself to feel depressed. So now the cortisol is building up. And now what? And now what does it say? Depression, overeating, drug and alcohol abuse. You can't have one normal drink. You get the drink and you gulp it down like it ain't a drink. It ain't water. Where's the class? You sip it. Oh, hoarding emotions dulls your ability to distinguish between reality and what you perceive to be reality. Let me read that again. Hoarding emotions dulls your ability to distinguish between reality and what you perceive to be reality. In turn, it creates an emotional clutter that can impact every part of your life. You've met people in your life who are off the scale, deliriously happy. And you've met people who are in a permanent downer mode. Both can be hard to be around. That's because both are shielding themselves from their genuine emotions by hiding in the midst of the emotional clutter. All right, y'all, we're going to stop right there. This was so good. It's 7:04, and I'm going to mark where we are. We're going to start on page 73, the act of emotional decluttering, next week. Y'all, this was so good. I don't know about y'all. This was so good. Thank you, Miss Brenda, for being in the studio with me. Thank you, Tara Lynn, for being in the studio with me. It was nice to have some people back here in the studio, you guys. I don't know. This is one that I'm going to read again. I'm going to read that over again before we get back together next week. And I can't wait to go ahead and finish this chapter about emotions. And then we're going to have some exercises at the end of this chapter. This was so good. And then next week, the following week, we'll start the one more association. You will never outperform your inner circle. So chapter 6, you guys, is called One More Association. You will never outperform your inner circle. Woo! So this has been amazing. Listen, you guys got to start inviting some people to be here with us, right? Or at least send them to the replay, because it is going to be on my YouTube in the live section, under Bling TV in the live section. So I want to remind you guys that no matter what is going on in your life, right? I don't care what it feels like, what it looks like, what it smells like, what it tastes like. You must remember that you can live again, you can laugh again, you can hope again, you can dream again, and you most certainly can bling again. Have a bling-tastic rest of your evening, you guys. Listen, pay it forward this week. Be kind to one another. Do a good deed, right? And open up your mind to this world of learning and reading, because you can never pour from an empty cup. My name is Nina Moore, you guys, and I can't wait to see you all right back here next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live as we continue chapter 5 of The Power of One More. Ed Mylett. This book is brilliant. Bye now.